playing over a simple 1, 4, 5, in this case, G, C, 7, D7, right? G, C, G, G, C, D. Or G, C7, D7, G. Either way, 1, 4, 5. And B.B. King does his little thing where he does his unison. Whoops. So I'm on the 1st fret of the B string. I grab the 3rd fret of the E string, the G, and then I slide up to that G that's on the B string at the 8th fret. And do the old B.B. wiggle. Stays right in there and keeps it simple. Right? It's a lot easier to bend on an electric than an acoustic. So he's just there on the 8, bends it up. He gets a hole up to 10, but I just can't do it on this acoustic. 11, 8, wiggle. Then he comes down, he goes back to the G here, because everything's, you know, happening around that G. Just fills in. Then he comes up, and we're moving on to the wraparound, so we're on the 5 chord, right? So he's on the 12th fret. I use 3 just to get the strength into it. Return, right? Down to the 10, 13, back to the 10 with the B.B. wiggle. Go over to the 10 now with your ring, or however you bend. Give it the same bend. Just adds one more note into it, but really it's following the same thing. 11, 10, 8. Then he comes down again, and he slides what would be an A right to a C. Pardon me, A to B. But just lightly. Grace note into that G on the E string, 3rd fret. And then he just does a walk up to close it out. So, on the B string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, E string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, return to the 3rd fret on the B string. And so much of what he does, and I'll look into other blues guys, I know you're not locked into him. So much of what he does is lots of space to just let things go, not rushing any note whatsoever, but also, in other words, not, dynamics, right? He's got a little bit of oomph in that, like there's an edge. And even in the first parts, but then he softens it right the hell out. And he gets a little bit of a bend in there too. I'm having a hard time because it's brand new to me. Just that little bit of a cry. And let it breathe out. This is just totally quiet down here. Just makes a noise while the chords are playing in the background. A little bit of emphasis up here, obviously. I'm missing it there. He almost doesn't even, you know, get that second fret in there. That's where he's starting, but just enough to get the slide in. And then nice and clear, but again, not rushed. And the funny thing is that if I simply bring my pick further forward, and it takes a little bit of trick because the string moves a lot more in the middle than it does, you know, back here as you're bending. When you're up here, the bend actually affects it, but you get a much clearer ring out of it. Just whole different tone. If I come up here, same as your pickups do, and that's why generally up here you're almost pulling, because behind your finger, right, I've got it there, behind your finger is a harmonic. It's adding into the sound as well. Down here at this end of you get almost all finger to bridge, but when you come up here, it seems to let in a little bit more of that back, you know, noise, the harmonic that exists, you know, that's playing both sides of the string. But even once you get your guitar set up for what you think is blues, you'll find where you play it makes a giant difference, I think. That's got a warmer, rounder, more, ooh, as terrible as that sounds, kind of vowel to it than that's more of a E. I just think it's much nicer up this way when you're doing that. If you're, you know, trying to get some edge into it, you might want it back there. But again, we're gonna do, it's the G, which is the 1 chord. It means we're playing in the key of G, right? G, then C, whatever format you want to do it. If you wanted to chase the minors, you could. I think that's got a more jazzy kind of feel to it. And you could certainly throw a 7 in on the G if you wanted to. I don't like, that's the full G7, the open chord. But where it puts that, you know, F, to me just doesn't sound nice. When you do it here, I think it's got a nicer sound. But either way, 1 chord, right? 4 4 chord, 5 chord, and no matter where you are, it follows the same game. When we're doing most of our blues, right, E, A, B, well, that's technically like if we had a bar, same form. Yeah, you probably already knew that, but it made sense to cover it. That unison slide just adds a little bit of character to the opening note, and it takes nothing. You're just letting people know, you know, G is your note, so you get 2 of them in there. I could just that adds just a hint of character to it. Check it out.